I'm Jay. This is Adrian. We are Raresleep.
Rare sleep. When I first heard that, it kind of triggered me a little bit. I have really bad insomnia, and I'm like this name already hits too close to home right now. I think it was on a night where I didn't even sleep. I'm like, I think I know what they're talking about here, but I don't know. I don't know. What's the meaning behind the name for you guys?
So the meaning behind the name, it's actually kind of falls within the realm of that same joke. Is we were we were up late one night and we were just spitballing ideas, and we were kind of just up at all hours of the night trying to think of a solid name, and someone had tossed out Rare Sleep, and we all kind of looked around and we're like, yeah, that's a good name. We could land with that. And it later kind of lived up to, like, we ended up living up to the name, because between jobs, life, and just everything in between, the lack of sleep between all things,
Mm-hmm.
we just make fun of each other all the time, be like, man, you look exhausted, like, when was the last time you got some rest?
Yeah.
I slept a solid 4 hours last night, 3 hours if I was lucky.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel that. I feel that. I think it's sometimes it's funny to when you have insomnia to be like, I got 5 hours of sleep last night. I feel so good.
Yeah.
It's I'm just like, I don't remember the last time it was. I got about 5 hours of sleep. Anyway, tell me about you guys. You're out of Colorado, right?
Yeah, so we're out of Colorado, Colorado Springs to be specific. It's just tucked in between Denver and Pueblo, Colorado. So Rocky Mountains, Pikes Peak, um, and yeah, we've been jamming out here. We have some shows lined up in Denver. We really want to hit the Denver scene and kind
Cool.
of make our presence a little more known.
When did
I
you
am a new
guys?
guy.
Oh, you're a
Uh,
new guy.
yeah. Uh, so these guys found me, specifically Jake, really.
Yeah,
Uh, I went out to a bar and, I like to go and sing karaoke every once in a while. You know what I mean? And I went out there and uh, just had a night by myself, wasn't really expecting anything. And he happens to be a KJ, a karaoke DJ.
Huh.
And
A KJ. I haven't heard that one.
right, right. And I had never heard that before. And I'm from Texas, so when I got out here,
Uh,
karaoke is so common out here, I feel
yeah.
like, in
Yeah, it's all
Colorado.
big.
Everybody, instead of a DJ, they call it a KJ. And I'm
Okay.
like, what does that mean? They're like, karaoke DJ, dude. I'm like, well,
I
okay.
dig it. I dig it.
Right. Right. I mean, that's kind of cool. Uh, um, anyways, I sang a song one night at the bar that he was working at. And afterwards, not really much happened. Well, another friend of mine was singing an Asking Alexandria song, and
Mm,
I
which
believe it was
which one?
the final episode. I
yeah,
believe.
yeah.
Oh
Uh,
shit.
yeah.
How did that go?
So he was bombing. He was bombing it.
That's a hard one to
Um,
cover. That's for sure.
I ran up there and I just grabbed a hold of it and I started screaming
Nice.
everything.
Nice.
Man,
Yeah.
and it was great. It was a fun time.
And
Yeah.
meanwhile, I'm watching this other guy bomb, and then Adrian gets up on the stage and just absolutely destroys it. Now, at this time, it was kind of serendipitous, because if you look at our earlier songs that we have released, um, we had another vocalist, and we ended up having to let him go for just personal health, and just life was just becoming a real big strain for him.
Life was
And so
lifing like it does.
life was life and hard.
Like
And
it
so
does. Yeah.
so for his better interest, we just said, hey man, go take some time. Well, at the same time, we're still writing music. We're still being, we're still trying to operate. And he came in literally the next day, and I said, "That's my guy." And so I did what I could. I went to the table. He was hanging out. I'm like, "Do any of you guys know who that guy was?" And luckily, I was able to get his info from one of the people that was there, and I hit him up the next day. I'm
Stalker.
like,
You're a stalker.
hands down, binoculars and all. I'm just like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Turn into a mystery
Um,
movie. I like it.
Yeah, dude.
So here I am hunting him down, and I just sent him out a message. I'm just like, hey man, I don't know if you're looking for anything, if you're part of anything, but if you're looking for something, uh, my band is looking for a new vocalist. And I don't even think it was a full 12 hours later. He hit me up and he's like, absolutely.
I said dog, yes. He sent me the material, and I was instantly, I was very impressed. I had been out here for 2 years, and I've messed around with several different musicians out here, and nobody really fit the bill. You know what I mean? Like it just wasn't really my thing. And that's okay. And he sent me a demo of the stuff that he had going on. Shit, I mean, a week later, I sent him a whole song. I was like, "Hey, dude, you want to go track that?" Or
And it was probably the perfect combination because before working with other with our previous vocalist, we would get done writing a song and then like it would probably be like a month, 2 months out that we would see lyrics back for it. And I sent him a demo for one of the newer songs that we were getting ready to do. And the next day I had just an inbox of a full list of pre pre-written down, just like he just went in and did the whole song top to bottom, new lyrics, and absolutely blew me off my feet.
Nice. It was love at first sight, it sounds like. So
yeah,
The wedding's in April. You're invited.
and no minute except on party business. God.
yeah, it's so crazy. It's crazy how things just happen. Like you're just randomly at a karaoke bar one day, and you randomly were like, "Oh, let me go sing," and then boom, a band happens. I feel like when things are kind of meant to be, they're just meant to be.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And what's weird about that is I've been working the same karaoke bar because it was a pastime for me, and then I eventually became friends with the owners and just said, "Hey, if you guys ever need help, I'm here." And they brought me in, and like from my perspective, I'm thinking, man, if I work here long enough, someone's going to walk through that door and be like, man, that guy can kill it.
Yeah.
And really, it was more of the opposite because I found Adrian.
Yeah.
And like even other musicians that I've worked with in the past, they would come in and they would sing, and I'd be like, "You play some type of instrument, or you sing, or you do something." And I would ask him later on, and like it became that opposite notion of instead of people coming and seeing what I had to offer, I was more or less turning into a scout myself.
Hmm. That's a good mindset to have, like when you're working somewhere, just like always paying attention and trying to network with other people. Like maybe other people in bands would have came in or something, and you never know who's going to come into those kind of things too.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
We had this was a handful of years ago, but we actually had Matthew Lillard walk in one night,
Oh shit.
and like we just partied it up with Matthew Lillard the whole night, and man, that guy was a ball.
Did he come in with a knife and a mask on or anything, or?
As much as I wish, I was honestly hoping for more of like a green T-shirt and some corduroy pants.
That's cool. Shaggy. Um, so since you're out in Colorado, do you know Brayburn Records? Are you connected with them at all? Do you know about Brayburn?
I've heard about them through conversation, but I've never digged into their lineup as far as what they have for bands.
Yeah, they have. So I'm actually going to be in Denver next weekend on
Oh, no way.
February.
Oh,
Yeah, on
nice.
February 28th. I'm sponsoring a show that Brayburns is throwing in downtown Denver. And
Whoa.
it's called the Brayburn Showcase. And they have, I don't know if you've heard of any of these bands, but Mood Swing Misery, Circling Over, um, Ironox, where
Iron Ox, yeah.
yeah, where the guitar player is originally from Suicide
Suicide
Silence,
Silence, yeah,
and
yeah.
then Talking Point, and then Suicide Cages is headlining.
Yeah, I've seen Suicide Cage
Yeah,
live.
yeah. So all five of them are playing the Brayburn Showcase next weekend, February
And
28th.
what venue is that?
It's at HQ.
Yeah, I know exactly where that is. You want to go?
Dude, it's
Yes.
great. If you're a Colorado based band, this is the fucking event to go to network.
Hell yeah.
That's lit. We should do that.
Yeah,
We
absolutely.
should do that.
I'll have a booth there. I'll be, repping the company and
So we could like be like, "What's up, dude?"
we could be like, "What's up?" in person. Absolutely, we could. It's gonna be a fun show. I think if you DM them now, uh, I would DM the Brayburn Records account. The guy who's throwing the show, who owns the label, he's very, very active on there. I think he's selling them directly for through him for $10 each.
Dude, that's nothing. Yeah, let's
That's
take it.
nothing. That is nothing. Just let him know that I sent you, and I'm sure he'll get you in $20, both of you.
Dude, 100%.
Yeah, easy.
Cool.
What? That's awesome.
It's a
Yeah,
great
no.
networking event, guys. It's going to be a big one. It's going to be a
Got
big one.
plans for next weekend, man. You know. Awesome.
Well, anyway, just wanted to plug out my boys there and let you guys know about them. So we are breaking down your track called Heroes tonight, and it just came out this year.
Yes.
When did it come out?
January 16th.
Yep.
January 16th. All right, so it's almost been a month. How is it going with the track so far? How are people digging it?
It's honestly to date our best performing track.
Yeah.
Awesome.
As far as what we've been able to push out and or how many listens we've been able to get on it. As far as expanding our reach in gathering that audience, we're working on getting it more distributed just because we're finding in today's age a lot of the promotion is it's either hit or miss. It seems like a lot of artists, especially newer artists, they they have either minor success and then greater success later down the road, and that's kind of what we're shooting for right now because of how much the track means to me personally, and I know for other members of the band. I would love to see it far more than where it is now, but as time
Yeah.
progresses, it is picking up in a gradual motion.
Well, hopefully this podcast will get it a little bit out there too. Who knows? Who knows?
Yeah.
That's super
Yeah.
sick, man. You're the first podcast, you know?
Really, your guys'
That's
first
pretty
one?
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh shit! I
Super
feel
sick, man.
honored then.
Dude, New York, baby. Let's go.
Yeah.
That's badass. Like, come on, man. Like,
I've-
come on. You're spreading far and wide.
Yeah,
Like a
there you go. I have it's funny. It's funny. A huge part of my reach is the UK. So,
Really?
We've been getting a lot of feedback from Australia, Europe, and Indonesia right now.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So that's
well,
pretty cool.
we'll keep pushing it. Keep pushing it. Yeah. So you had said that this track means a lot to you. Why is that? What is this? What is this kind of just surface level? How do you feel about it? What's kind of the surface level story?
So this is kind of a big can of worms for me. So 2 years ago, this coming April, or yeah, April, um, just everything was kind of happening in my life. Um, I I had learned I had just left a job, and it was a great paying job. I was working for Coca Cola, and got into a job that was less taxing, less stressful, and I had just moved into an apartment with my now ex at the time, and I got a call one day as I was driving to my new job, and I found out that my granddad, who is every reason today why I am the musician that I am, he introduced me to the Beatles, all forms of classic rock,
Mm-hmm.
uh, guitar, piano, the any litany of instrument that I could get my hands on that I could play. He was the biggest inspiration for that. And I
Cool.
got a call that he was in the hospital. He had taken a fall, and I mean, man, the older generation was built different.
Yeah.
He was out shoveling snow off the drive, and he fell, and he had broken three ribs on one side, two in the other, cracked his head,
Oh
and he got up and he finished the drive.
shit. Of course you did.
And well, we all rushed to the hospital. We make sure he's okay,
Hmm.
and he came out of it, and he was recovering, and he was doing really well. And
Good for him.
then
Yeah.
and then he wasn't eating. And so we took him back to the hospital, and he was diagnosed with esophageal cancer.
Mm.
And within, and I'm not even joking, a week's time frame, it went from stage 2 to stage 4 in a week.
Wow.
And within less than a month, he was gone.
Mm.
And now, at the same time, I had, like, probably days after I got the news that he was diagnosed with stage 4, I found out I was going to become a dad.
Mm.
And so I was dealing with a lot of complex emotions of, how do I be, how do I be joyful, for new life when I'm having to let go of one that has built me into the person that I am today. And so it was a culmination of those emotions, but the song itself is mainly focused on the loss that I dealt with my granddad.
Mm.
And I probably sat down maybe 3 hours, just locked in my room, no TV, no social media, nothing, just me and my guitar. And 3 hours later, I walked out with the bare structure of Heroes.
Mm. What an awesome outlet to have when you're feeling these feelings. Not everybody has that. Not everybody can pull their guitar out and start writing. And, I think that's awesome. It was kind of what helped get you through it when you were going through it, I guess, a little bit.
And it was really hard. It was really hard to just sit there and take it in. Once I came out of my room and I had the bare structure for the song down, I think I didn't talk. I didn't talk to anyone. I was hardly eating, and just such a profound feeling of hurt. And I didn't even attempt to put lyrics to it until probably a few months after the funeral. And the there's one line, because as far as creative control for for lyrics and other parts within the song, people putting their own flair on things. I left that pretty open. I remember when I pulled Adrian aside, I just said, "Hey, if you're going to write lyrics, because everyone had a piece of the song. You know, our our bassist, he used I think it was his granddad's bass for the song. The intro guitar that you hear for the track, that's my granddad's guitar. Uh,
Cool.
so everyone had a little piece put into it, a little of their own emotion dealing with loss. And when it came to the lyrics specifically, the only line that I had for the song was they say heroes never die, but somebody lied because someone took mine, or because God took mine.
Mm.
And I am not ashamed to admit it. I totally ripped off Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. Just that first scene in the movie where he's just like, somebody lied.
Mm. Wow, that's heavy. I can share a little bit of relation to you. My grandmother was my favorite person in the entire world. And when she passed, uh I was the same way as you. I couldn't really do anything. I was just about to graduate high school and just like I didn't even care about graduation anymore. I didn't care about school. Played a huge toll on me for sure. And I had just started filmmaking right as she passed, and I had made a promise to her. I'm like, Grandma, one of these days I'm going to move to LA and I'm going to make a movie out there. I'm going to make you proud. And that was the day before she passed, and then she passed the next day. But that had been with me forever. Like until I made a feature film in LA, I would not be happy. I'm like, I have to do this. I have to do this for her. I got to keep pushing through it. And I did. I finally did that. And then I just felt this like huge weight lifted off me at the premiere. I'm just like, she would be proud of me. So I got a question for you. After putting out this song and playing playing your music, do you think your grandfather would be proud of you?
I would say that would come with a mixed answer. Yes and no, because I think he would be proud to see that out of the family that there was at least one person who kept the music alive
Mm.
as much as he did. And where I would say no is he was a very religious guy. He was very close in that department.
Mm.
And the way that I wrote the song, and specifically with that one line of lyrics, it it was very much it struck a chord with me to see my family take it in, because outside of my immediate family, everyone, aunts, uncles, cousins, they were all in that kind of religious upbringing. Whereas with me and my family, we were listening to Iron Maiden, Number of the Beast on Sunday morning.
Hmm.
you know, and for the first time in my life, while that was all happening, I saw the figureheads of my family who were very deep in their faith and their beliefs. I saw that faith falter and slip.
Mm.
And for someone who, although I do have my own core beliefs and my own faith, it was jarring, to say the least, to see the people in my life who've been such inspirations to me, and um, just people of just that strong of faith, to look back and kind of say, what God would do this.
Mm.
What would you do?
Yeah.
That's deep.
So so for me to see that, like, now, granted, I this is just 2 years ago. I'm grown, but to see that was very, like, just that, it was very jarring. It was very emotional to see them in that state and kind of turn back on that.
Hmm.
Gangster.
I actually kind of feel that that's common. After you lose someone, especially someone super close to you, it's very common to, because you want to get mad at somebody, but you don't know who to get mad at. And I know I did that when my grandma passed. I'm like, no, I don't believe this anymore. And it took me a long time to get back to it. Very, very long time.
Mm.
Um, and I know a lot of my cousins went that route too, but as time has gone on, they've been able to look past that stuff, but it's time for sure. You need time for all that. And I get the being angry at God because I was the same way. Like, how could you take her? That's fucked up. I don't like that.
Yeah.
So no, I get it. Um, well, you guys, this is it sounds heavy. I have not listened to this track yet, so I'm stoked now to with this new knowledge to read these lyrics and break it down with you. All right, this is Heroes by Rare Sleep. Let's break this track down. All right. We got some stuff to dive into there. All right, verse 1 goes, "You are the calm beneath the skies." Keeping things together down here. "A quiet storm in your tired eyes." Your eyes look. Hold on. Quiet storm in your tired
A
eyes.
quiet storm in your tired eyes, right?
Yeah. Like
Uh,
looking into the eyes of someone who's about to pass, almost knowing that there's
right.
a
Like
storm
it,
ahead.
they're like it's yeah. So it's more or less in the visuals of shit, man. Like I'm fighting as hard as I can right now, and
Yeah.
I'm like there's nothing that I can say or do that's gonna make that any easier. A quiet storm and you're tired. Like I'm tired, but like the fight's there, but I have nothing left to give.
Mm.
Like in
Yeah.
in a way, it's like, look, I can raise my shield only so much, and now they've taken me. Like that's it, dude. I'm
Mm.
I'm done. But like I gave it a valiant
Wow.
effort. You
Yeah.
know?
That's deep already. "The world still spins, but it feels misplaced. You slipped away without a trace. Your shadow still hums in the hall, like you never left at all." When I've dealt with loss too, I've or even not even just lost, but maybe losing a job or ending a relationship or whatever it is, I go, how my world is in such a spin right now. How does it make sense that everybody else is just living their life and doing their thing? Like, aren't they affected by
Right.
all this too? Like, even if we don't think so, it's like our world crumbles, but we have to continue on.
Yeah, man. It's very tough. And
I
what
hate
like
that. I hate that
honestly,
feeling
like
so much.
that would your shadow still hums in the hall like you never left at all is probably one of the more favorite lines of mine. Which gives that initial presence of like god damn, like you're gone, but like shit, like you're still like I feel you all around me,
Hmm.
right? Like
Yeah,
like your
yeah,
presence is so there, it's not even funny. Like you're gone, but like, whoa, what are
yeah,
you? Did you leave? Did you stay with me? Um, and I don't know. I feel like that's a very deep connection, especially for somebody who can emphasize on the feelings of energy and things like that too. You know,
yeah,
like everybody
yeah,
processes life and death differently, and it's absolutely something that you can connect with on a very energetic level, something like
yeah.
that.
I
You
agree with
know,
that 100%. After my grandmother passed, I could like the hairs on my arm would stand up, and she
right?
had a very distinct smell, and there would be so many times where I would just smell that scent out of nowhere.
Yeah, dude, that,
Like
and I like to think myself.
it's a very spiritual feeling. It's just like, oh, I'm
Exactly.
one, I'm connected on a different
Exactly.
level.
Yes, I love that you said that. Yeah, I agree
Yeah,
with you 100% on that. And
yeah,
that's a lot of like where that stems from is like, like it's that very emotional 1v1 bond that you have that
yeah,
was able to stick with you throughout the entire process of them passing,
yeah,
and you coping.
yeah.
Which let's be honest, it's absolutely in a way a coping mechanism, but like it's something that's so dear.
No, he hit the nail on the head. It's very it's hard to really conceptualize those feelings or compartmentalize those just based on the mental load that comes with it.
Yeah. I never thought the sun would fade before I found the words I never said. Time stole the breath before the prayer. Hmm. Now I'm alone
Okay,
standing here and you're not there. I want to highlight that line. Time stole the breath before the prayer.
like
That's tough.
who yeah, and I feel like the whole thing behind that is just in general timing, like itself. Like nobody expected this. I didn't even have a chance to plead your case. You
Mm.
know what I mean? Like as if like it's like almost like a court hearing, like
Mm.
in front of God himself. Like you're like, hey man, like
Gotcha.
you're passing judgment on the person that I love the most before you could even hear what I have to say. What about like and it's a little selfish, but like what about me? Like
Yeah. No, 100%. I
what
get
about
that.
what you're taking away from me,
Yeah. Yeah, I get that.
And it sucks, like,
Now I'm alone.
and
Yeah.
you're not there.
Yeah.
Who am I supposed to go to for guidance now, other
Mm.
than what my own intuition or self can learn from this life that is life? I mean, it's
Yeah.
And with that line too, time stole the breath before the prayer. For me, that kind of embodies on the similar lines, just the idea that I didn't get an opportunity to really say everything I wanted to say before it was too late.
Mm. Yeah.
Because what of all the stories that I never got to ask about or that you never got to tell me?
That just oh shit. That gave me chills right now because I've never thought of it. So, okay, so I got to tell my grandmother kind of last words because it was like everybody come in, you say goodbye, say your final say your final goodbyes. And I never thought about what if I didn't get that goodbye? How would I feel? If I
Right.
never told her those last things, how would my life have been different? Because, like I was saying, I made her that promise and I held on to it for like 15 years. And not until after I achieved that, then I can let it go. But I wonder how my life would have been different if I didn't say anything. That's an interesting point. Not being
Yeah.
able, yeah.
One of my biggest things with my
Mm,
granddad is, when we learned that he had stage four, there were times where I would just go and see him just to check in on him, see how he was doing. And for the most part, like he was all there mentally, and like he was, fighting his way through it. And there comes a sense of guilt too. At least in my case, I don't know how this is for others, but when I was fortunate enough to know my great grandmother, his mom,
mm,
and when she passed, everyone was telling me, hey, go and say your final goodbyes. The time is now, and I was trapped at work. I couldn't leave, and so I never got to say that goodbye, and I felt guilty about it for years. And even now, I still feel some guilt because the only time that I brought it back up was when I knew that he was going to pass, and I broke down in front of him and just said I never got to say goodbye,
mm,
and probably could have taken the time off to go, and I didn't, and I feel terrible about it. I just want to apologize to you that you know that I'm sorry. And his exact words to me, and this was probably a week before he passed, was, when I see her, I'll tell her.
mm. That's heavy.
That's heavy as. I didn't. How
Mm.
dare you?
There was a lot of emotion that went into this track. Oh shit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we
And
go ahead.
and similarly, Heroes actually isn't the first track that I've done like this, because I've done, because when she passed, at the time I wasn't as refined as I feel I am now, but I too went back and I made a track for her as well.
Mm.
And that one, I actually had the opportunity of sloppily and full of tears playing at her funeral. And so this is something, in a way, for me, is my way of dealing with forms of grief, and forms of the people that in terms of the people that I've lost. This is my way of showing them that their memory is still here.
Mm. All right. On that note, let's keep listening because we got more lyric to break down.
Without goodbye, I reach for your gun.
All right, all right, all right. Before we get into that next part, let's do the course. Some say heroes never die, but somebody lied because God took mine.
This man right here.
So, like I was saying before, this
Yeah, yeah,
this line in particular
yeah.
was the one that I asked. No matter what you do lyrically, this one line stays, and that kind of goes back to what I was saying about my family, watching them kind of turn heel on their faith and their belief in God, um, because just of how much of a pillar that my granddad was for all of my family, myself included, and to see you know people who are deeply rooted in that turn heel and watch that faith falter. It was anything but. It was just surreal, to say the least, because I never once in my life did I ever expect those individuals to really put their personal foundations and their convictions in question.
Hmm. I've had a weird relationship with that quote. Heroes never die. There is a an Eminem song called "Heroes Never Die,"
Whoa.
and it talks about being broken down, being at the bottom, but finding that inner hero to pull yourself out of it. Heroes never die, as in, yeah, I might be going through a rough time right now, but I'm still me and I'm coming back. That's basically what that song means. But I've
That's
also
pretty real.
I've related to it on the same sense as you. Heroes never die. Like, why would they be gone? But I think the whole point of that is to be like you were saying, like the spirit's always here. You can always feel them. My grandmother passed 18 years ago, and I talk about her all the time. Still, all my family, we still talk about her as if she's here. So it's just like she's gone, but she'll never die. I don't know. I've had a weird relationship with that quote too because I love that Eminem song. I listen to it when I run.
I don't
I don't
even think
know.
I know.
You
You
should
can go
you
through
guys should
that.
check that song out and listen to those
That's what
lyrics.
I'm
It
saying,
might
man. I'm like, I mean, I'm kind of interested in that. Like,
yeah. Yeah. It actually might be a good flip for you guys to be able to like maybe change a little bit for you. But anyway, the silent screams where your laughter died. You faded away without goodbye. Silent screams where your laughter died. To me, that just takes me to like an empty house. Like going to my grandmother's
right.
house and
And,
walking
and
in.
that's
Go ahead.
yeah. Uh, and I mean, you're definitely on the right point there.
Yeah.
Uh, that's kind of what that line entails. The silent screams where your laughter die. Like, I mean, and that's exactly the visualization that I was kind of going for with that too. It's like
Mm,
walking into an empty space
yeah.
of where the familiar, like it's so familiar to you of the joy and everything that was there is just like gone.
And that's kind of how I perceive that too, because I where we live in the city that we are, on my way to work, I passed the neighborhood that my granddad lived in, and I almost kind of avoid it now
Mm,
because somewhere in my brain I'm thinking if I just drive up the road and make those turns, that he's just going to be out in the front lawn mowing his yard and doing upkeep on the house, and like he's still there even
Yeah.
though I've gone back to the house since then, and it's still the same house, but you look inside and they've put up new light fixtures and they've painted the walls and they've taken what made the house for me all those Christmas, Thanksgiving
Like a new family,
4th of July
right?
barbecues.
Mm-hmm.
Is it
It-
occupied by a new family?
no,
No.
it's just empty.
So it's just been renovated.
So like I've seen it being renovated, and it it is very much the husk of what used to be what I knew.
Mm.
That's what I fear about my grandparents' house. And just a tiny bit of lore on that. Like my grandfather is very much about to pass away. And the way that Jake feels about his grandfather is how I feel about my own grandfather. We're very similar too in that regard. Granted, I'm a bit older. You know, I'm 32, and my old man's about to can it, and
Mm.
I've come to terms with all of that good stuff. You know, it's not good, but at the same time, like shit, being able to have the opportunity to write this song "Heroes" with him after everything that he's laid down was something that I was able to relate to, even though he hasn't yet passed.
Mm.
I mean, this is probably his final year. Like, I'm going to be real. And it's hard to wrap my head around, but also, again, like I said before, like I'm coming to terms with that. We talk all the damn time, every day. And it's an inevitable thing.
Yeah.
It sucks, you know. Like I
It
mean,
does.
there's no way to get around that. It sucks, you know. But
Yeah.
yeah,
I reach for your ghost, but the stars won't align. You're gone, but your love still etched in mine. That just reminds me, that just takes me back to that like spiritual moment where we're talking about. It's
okay.
just, huh?
So with that, when I wrote that, I had okay. So do you like anime by chance?
Uh, Not really.
Not really.
Never really
Okay,
given it a chance.
so
Sorry.
I'm a big anime nerd. Okay, and I love anything and everything that has to do with anime, storyline, and everything.
Same.
And I reach for your ghost, but the stars won't align, and you're gone, but you were left celestial in mine. When I think about that, it's kind of silly, but like I think of like an anime scene of falling through space right then, and it's like an astral projection
Mm,
form of yourself
yeah.
connecting with your ancestor past, right? Or
Yeah.
somebody who's already passed, but you're connecting with them, and your time is up already. You know what I'm saying? They let you know that they've gone, and it's like that little finger touch. When you reach out and the wind is breaking against your entire clothing. It's like what I'm saying, like you can hear the flutter of your clothes, like you're falling in the sky, and you guys just barely manage to touch one time. And there's like this little tiny spark, a little star that just goes big poof, right? As soon as you guys touch, like it's like that thing. You guys have that look in both of y'all's eyes where it's like the love will always be there, and I'm always going to be there for you, looking after you, and so on and so forth. From here to eternity, I have you for the rest of your life.
Mm.
It's
And it's a good way
like,
to look at it. It's a good way to look at all that. Like no matter what the situation is, we're still going to be connected. When you say
yeah,
astral projection, that was funny. I that's actually happened to me before. And I talked to my grandparents. Like I know for a fact that I did. I was meditating,
dude, that's
and
good.
out of nowhere, I just felt my I just I felt like I was going up, and then I can see myself looking
Yeah,
down at myself as I was meditating in my front room, and then all of a sudden, just like it just went dark, and I heard my grandmother's
yeah,
voice. Fucking weird. And we had a little bit of a talk, and then I felt myself going down, and I can see myself as I was going down. And
Yeah.
when I opened my eyes, I was so nauseous, as if I was just
Outer body
somewhere, because
experience, baby.
I was somewhere different, and like my soul came back down. It was one of the wildest experiences of my entire life.
It's like that right there, that experience in itself, I guarantee you, you could feel every part of like every sound, every little detail that was happening in that moment. You could
Yeah,
retain it and you could write it down to the
yeah,
T.
yeah,
You know?
yeah. Wild.
I've had similar dreams like that. I once had a dream of an old woman at a house that I used to go to as a kid, and didn't know her, didn't recognize her, and she said she was my grandma Mary, and
Mm.
I didn't know of a grandma Mary at the time, and this was years before my granddad passed. I called him up and I said, do we have a grandma Mary, or do you know a grandma Mary? And he goes, yeah, that's your grandma's mom. Where did you hear that name?
Mm.
And I said, I had a dream about her. And he goes, and I said, you don't happen to have any pictures of this lady, do you? And he goes, yeah, come on over. So I went over, we had lunch, and he pulled out a photo book, and we're going through pictures, young, old, and at some point I just stopped him and I pointed, I said, that's her.
Mm.
And until that day, I didn't know I had a Grandma Mary.
That's wild. Wild. These things. There's definitely another dimension out there. I believe in that. Heroes never die because they don't.
Exactly.
Because they
Hey,
don't. They fucking don't. Mm. If no, your hands built heavens from the earth. You never once forgot my worth. Now I chase the echoes
uh,
you left behind, the softest ghost, the cruelest kind. Uh that yeah, you never once forgot my worth. That love we have for our grandparents is something different. Like we love our parents, but that grandparent love is something completely different.
Oh, 100%.
The
straight up.
softest ghost, the cruelest
And
kind.
man, honestly, the big line from all of that is my favorite, like my absolute favorite is your hands built heavens from the earth, which I don't know why, but to me, it represents the foundation of what and who I am. Like building heavens from the earth is in a weird way is like you make me feel like I'm your heaven that you also raised on your own free will, time, and everything from the earth. We're, we're you know, we're human. We all come from the fucking same place. Shit. I don't know. My old man, I'm the embodiment of that motherfucker. He ain't dead yet, but he's about to be. But I love him to death, and I'm gonna keep pushing on, pushing everything that he taught me to ride, baby. Let's go. I love it, and that's really like that whole thing. That whole thing is just a massive embodiment of him pouring all of his knowledge, his passion, and everything in between into my own soul and body. I love music. I
Mm.
love to write music, I love to play music, everything in between.
Speaking of
I'm
music,
very much.
yeah, I was gonna say, speaking of music, we got more track to listen to.
Let's do it.
Cool.
You were everything I wanted to become. Strength is the beast in my mind. I feel free warmth of the coldest nights. No goodbye, no second try. Just a love that refuses to die.
All right, that was Heroes by Raresleep. What a track. I really like the guitars in this song.
Dude, this guy.
Fucking
Right here.
fucking killer.
Yeah,
Especially
minute, dude.
especially during that bridge. And then
He's incredible.
you say final breakdown almost like right when the breakdown comes in. That was cool. That was pretty cool. Bridge. If heaven is real, you're waiting still. Colors vibrant through a prism that bends beyond my will. If grief is love that lost its home, then I'll carry it. I'll never be alone. Yeah. Bends beyond my will. Just like you're on a different level. That's so beyond me. You're so yeah, you're just so ahead. You were everything I wanted
the one
to
thing I can give
become.
Adrian.
Yeah.
That's where I give Adrian a lot of the credit because I mean, I can come up with ideas for lyrics, but the level of poetry that Adrian brings to the table is unmatched from anything that I've seen just in the local scene here.
Final breakdown. Strength in the ache. The peace in my will. I still feel your warmth on the coldest nights. No goodbye, no second try, just a love that refuses to die. I like the one that stands out to me is strength in the ache. You're going through a hard time,
dude.
and
But
I could
so strong about it. You know what I mean?
exactly.
It's okay because like I'm gonna take it with me. We're gonna do this, and you're gonna see it at the very end, regardless. Like,
yeah.
Be proud. Be proud.
You know, it's
Let
kind
me
of
show you that I
it's
have it.
the way that these lyrics are kind of structured. It's it starts off with well no so the line there in the chorus, heroes never die, but someone lied because God took mine. The silence screams. To me, that sounds very angry, and then but the way the line ends though, I still feel your warmth on the coldest nights. A love that refuses to die. And kings never die.
The way that I've kind of related a lot of these lyrics, if I had to sum it up in a good example, and this would be coming from one of my biggest inspirations, and you'll hear it a lot in this track, especially in the choruses, is Counterparts. Counterparts has a very similar fluid level of poetry in their music, and it very much has that. They have a track. I'm blanking on the name, but the line in one of their songs is, um, "You." I may be paraphrasing here a little bit, um, but you haunt me like a ghost in an empty home, or something to that effect.
Mm,
Just you know, you're still there, your presence is still there, the memories are still there, but you're not.
yeah. So do heroes die, or do they not?
You know, I think it depends on the perspective that you're looking at it,
Yeah.
because heroes, my hero, that being my grandfather, his memory is still very much alive, and I think
Yeah.
that's what kind of encapsulates most heroes, is they're not here. That's why, you know, what they did for me or for other people, and why they're not here, is what immortalizes them into being here. But me, hero is was taken from me. You know, that anger of feeling as though it was taken. You know,
Yeah.
my grandfather being taken, but
About
his memory is forever in my mind.
since putting this track out, have you been able to change perspectives at all on any of this, or do you still feel that same way?
Um, it all. That's a really good question. I,
That's a hard one.
I'd like to say that since the song has been done, my my ability to pass through the stages of grief have definitely subsided. But kind of like the same feeling that you share with your grandmother, you talk about them all the time. And it, every now and again, I'll be at home, and you know, I would have made breakfast, or you know, just sitting on the couch, and I'll see something, I'll smell something that reminds me of those memories. And you know, it I have those moments of those good memories, and then I'm thrust right back into the fact that this is now my reality.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's almost kind of like a cycle effect. And
Oh, okay. So what you're saying is you start to feel a little bit better. You think you're kind of snapping out of it a little bit, but then the one little thing will remind you, and you're right back in it.
and you know, it's one of those things for me too, where when I'm in those moments of feeling like, you know, I haven't thought about it for a while, and then it kind of gets thrust back upon me, you know, in the moments where some people would pray to God, you know, here I am talking to my grandfather, and just in the open air, and
Yeah.
trying to feel some semblance of connection.
So when you released this track, were you able to release any of those emotions with you? Do you feel like the release of this kind of brought some of that out, or not really?
Um, I would say after it was released, it felt like I was able to put a chapter of life to bed.
Good.
But it's still very much one of those things that it'll always be a part of me. That his memory will always be a
Yeah.
part of me.
Yeah.
And and so, although as cathartic as the song was for me to write, and with Adrian coming in with his lyrics and really bringing it full circle, it, it was probably one of the hardest yet therapeutic things that I've had to go through just
Mhm.
getting out that grief.
Right. Right.
Because during that whole process, you know, he passed that year in April, and we didn't talk about it as a family until late November that year.
Mm.
And so we definitely took our time in that. And so when the song was finally released, and I mean, you know, like I said, that was 2 years ago, where I walked out of my room with the bare bones of that song. And now, being January this past month, releasing the song, it it it, it threw me back, and
Yeah.
it kind of re-embraced that cathartic feeling, but it also very much was heavily tied with those emotions. So it was kind of like a 50-50 of
Yeah.
yes and no. I guess a long
Time.
way of saying that.
Time, my friend. Time will make things not better, but easier.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, it took me 15 years to finally accept it. I mean, I'm still grieving. I'm still going through it, but that acceptance stage, it takes a minute to get there. Don't be too hard on yourself. It takes a minute to get there.
Which is one of my,
Um,
which kind of brings to a good point within the song, is that last bit of audio that you hear.
yeah, I was going to ask
um,
about that. Yeah, I forgot about that.
that last bit of audio, by now everyone should recognize that song. um you know, it's one of those songs where pretty face forward, in terms of like what it's trying to get across. But when we were finalizing the song, I wanted to put that part at the end, because throughout the rest of the track, being angry and being, kind of going through the process, like the whole song, you hear kind of different stages of grief kind of playing out. And then that final piece of acceptance, and, we'll meet again someday.
Yeah.
And the the way that I had edited the audio for that track, as opposed to it just being, the original format, because you can kind of tell that it sounds like it's almost underwater. And
Mm.
that one is actually inspired by my grandmother, because she's still very much alive and well, but she suffers from dementia.
Mm.
And
Rough.
so that piece is more for her. And I don't know if you've ever heard, I'm blanking on the song name or the album name, but there's kind of like an expression art album of song. It just sounds like a song from the 30s, and on each track it represents the stages of dementia as people go through it. To where it starts off perfectly crystal clear, you can tell every note, every sound, and as it progresses through the album, by the time you get to the end, it's almost indistinguishable from what you hear in the beginning. And
Yeah.
so with this piece of audio, I kind of made it feel like it was underwater, to kind of represent that feeling of dementia for her. And so that, because he was her anchor, he was kind of what was keeping her together on a daily basis, just from doing, basic puzzles, doing, things to keep her mind active. And now it's progressed, and she's having a hard time recognizing people.
Mm.
But but that end piece of audio was mainly for her because even though her anchor is gone now, she'll see him again.
Yeah.
And then for me, it was kind of that representation of, you know, I can still tell what the audio is. And for me, that was enough to say, I know I'll see him again someday.
So it's cool. You had something in there both for your grandfather and your grandmother, the thing at the end, and especially, well, the whole meaning about it, but also the guitar in the beginning, too. There's like audio things that represent them both. That's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Well, thank you for sharing that whole story. Damn, I feel like so many of the words just hit home for me, and we were able to connect on it. Your grandfather, my grandmother, and just I felt like I understood exactly what the song's about. So, thanks for opening up on here. I appreciate that.
Yeah, totally.
So what does 2026 hold for Raresleep? What else you guys got coming up this year?
So for this year, what we've got going on, we have a few more songs coming down the pipeline. And this time I'll actually be featuring vocals on the next track. So we're super pumped about that. We're going to be getting in the studio here at the end of the month.
Cool.
Sounds about right.
And and all of the instruments are done for that. So all we've got to do is vocal takes. So we'll wrap that one up here pretty quickly. We're probably hoping for a March release date.
And he's got such a great voice.
Nice.
Nice. And then starting in April, we'll start to pick up more shows as we start to get into the warmer season, and we'll probably have a handful of shows leading us up into June where we hit the road.
Yeah, we got a baby mini tour.
We've got a small regional tour that we're going to be going on here in the summertime.
How many cities?
3 or 4, I think.
Okay, cool.
I believe.
Is it all within Colorado?
No. So we'll be doing Colorado, Wyoming, Utah, and
North Dakota.
If we can swing it.
I think it's supposed to be Fargo, North Dakota. But yeah,
Dakota. Okay.
Never been there a day in my life.
Yeah. So if people want to keep up with those new tracks and all the tour dates, where's the best place to go to stay up to date with everything Raresleep?
Instagram is going to be our bread and butter.
Yeah.
What's that handle?
So that is going to be at Raresleep_HXC.
HXC. Fuck yeah. Well, thank you again for coming on and telling your story. That song was sick, and I liked the guitars in it, especially during that bridge area. That was really cool. So yeah,
man, we appreciate you having us on.
Yeah, for sure.